Alrighty, guys, thank you for joining the Wrestling Show. This is the Instant Take episode of WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. Man, what a great show it was. A lot of surprises. If you watched the latest episode where we did a preview for WrestleMania 34 and we did our predictions, you'll see that a lot of the predictions I had were way off or totally wrong. So there were a lot of surprises in this WrestleMania, a lot of good matches. The matches themselves they were really good. The big surprise was the outcome of the matches, which, made it, great, exciting television to watch. But yeah, let's get into it. WrestleMania 34, we had a record 78,133 fans in attendance in New Orleans at the Superdome. So that was really exciting to see. The fans seemed like they were really into it most of the night. Let's start. We'll just start it. I'm going to go through the entire thing in order, starting with the kickoff. There's a lot to get to. We had about, 7 hours, maybe a little over 7 hours worth of wrestling today, including the kickoff show. So there's a lot to get to. So on the kickoff show, of course, we had Renee Young hosting the kickoff show with JBL and Booker T and David Otunga. At certain points, Peter Rosenberg joined the table as well. Let's see here. I believe Sam Roberts did a little segment on the side. Carmella at one point, she joined the announce table. She has her Money in the Bank briefcase, of course. They ask her if she's going to do anything with that Money in the Bank briefcase, alluding, trying to see if she's going to use it tonight. She says she's not going to let anybody know her plans for it. Of course, we have two big matches later in the evening for the women's title, and then Carmella says she's not gonna, she wants to keep her plan secret, and she needs to go get ready for the women's battle royal, and so she goes ahead and takes off. Then we get the first battle royal, which was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It was great. What I really liked about this was we got to see Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross teaming up again on ringside announcement table for this match. So I always love to see Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross together, of course, doing the announcing. For me growing up, they were the best announcing team that I had ever seen. Jim Ross is my favorite ringside caller in wrestling for my life. Let's see here. We saw a shot of John Cena going on the side here. He ended up being on they showed a shot of him like, oh, he's in the crowd watching, just like I thought he, might be sitting right up there in the front row enjoying the show during this battle royal. It was notable. We got to see R-Truth. He was in the match, so we do know he is, obviously he was healthy enough to be medically clear to join the match, so maybe there'll be a return coming for him soon. But during the Andre the Battle Royal, a couple of things that I noted was, Dolph Ziggler did a lot of work in this match. Like, his arms got to be tired pulling himself up all the times he pulled himself up, because he was constantly like almost getting thrown out and having to pull himself back in and dangling on the ropes with his feet almost touching the ground. Mojo Rawley did a blindside tackle on Zack Ryder and eliminated him, but eventually we get down to the end. Matt Hardy, it was Matt Hardy, Baron Corbin, and whoever else. Point is, Bray Wyatt comes in. We get his little video screen. He ends up, he shows up in the ring. Bam. It's enough of a distraction that Matt Hardy's able to take advantage of it and eliminates everybody else, and we get Matt Hardy as the winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt embrace each other after this and do some sort of, Woken Warrior pose. So I can't wait to see more of what we're going to get out of that whole storyline going forward. I'm sure, starting tomorrow, Monday Night Raw, the Monday after, the Raw after WrestleManias are always some of the biggest shows that start off and kick off the new storylines for the new year in wrestling. So I can't wait to see what we're going to get out of that. Let's see here. Next up, the match that we had next was the Cruiserweight titles between Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. Of course, the other thing that we get at WrestleMania is always the wrestlers get special entries, and so we didn't do that for the men's battle royal. Everybody just started all in the ring together. But for the Cruiserweight title, Cedric Alexander came in, but then when Mustafa Ali came in, I really liked his entrance. He came out with his ring attire. He had the flashing face mask, and he had a beam of light on his palm, and he was raising in the air, and it was supposed to symbolize that he wants to be a beacon of light for those, for everybody out there. So I really liked that. Again, if you saw my prediction, I thought Mustafa Ali was going to win this match. He ended up losing in a lot of, a great match for 205 Live. We get to see what they bring to the table. Let's see here. The big highlights that I got from this match was Mustafa Ali got a Spanish fly off the top rope. And then Cedric Alexander also did a kick to Mustafa Ali when he was on the top, and Mustafa Ali really face planted hard on the ground on the outside there. Let's see here. Mustafa Ali hit the 054, of course, but Cedric Alexander, having enough ring awareness, gets his foot on the rope, so he's able to stop the count. What else did I have on here? And then a little bit later, Mustafa Ali misses the 054. Cedric Alexander is able to take advantage of this. He gets a back elbow in on Mustafa Ali, gets the lumbar check, and gets the pin. Cedric Alexander, being the soul of 205, beats the Heart, and Cedric Alexander is our new 205 Cruiserweight champion. This one was another one that surprised me with the way Mustafa Ali has been cutting promos versus the way Cedric Alexander has been cutting promos lately. I really thought Mustafa Ali would get the win here because, he is really a master at the promo right now. Whereas, Cedric, his character falls a little flat for me. Not quite charismatic enough, but I will say in this match, he was kind of charismatic in this match enough to, get me over. So maybe it'll be an upward trend for him where he can really start, working on his character and bringing that charisma out. Of course, they show another shot of John Cena again, enjoying the show, still sitting in the front row with the fans, drinking a beer. And then after this, we get the Women's Battle Royal here. I predicted that Becky Lynch was going to win this. They even gave Becky Lynch her own entrance, her own special entrance into the ring. She got to enter before everybody else, so they really wanted to highlight Becky Lynch for something here. And then the way that played out, it just kind of played out, I feel like the past year has played out for Becky Lynch. Fans are really, popping for her. They're really hot for her, but WWE just doesn't quite have enough for her because I thought Becky Lynch would be one of the girls that would make it, to the end of the Battle Royal, but she gets eliminated halfway through. So that was a little bit disappointing for me. But during the Battle Royal, of course, we have Beth Phoenix being on the ringside commentary, so that was good to hear from her. After Becky Lynch came in, we get all the entrants come out at the same time for all the competitors to start together at the same time. And when they all come down to the ring, I noticed that there were a lot of the NXT women division in there, so that was good to see them get a chance at WrestleMania. Since most of them didn't get to actually compete in a match at the NXT takeover itself. During this, I noted that Riot Squad did a lot during this match. Riot Squad was dominating most of this match, which I think maybe they kind of need. Maybe hopefully that will lead somewhere for them, because Riot Squad, ever since their team formed, they haven't really been doing it for me. But maybe, hopefully, the dominance that they were showing during this Battle Royal will hopefully lead to something for them down the road in the storyline and continuing to progress there. Let's see here. But eventually, towards the end, after Riot Squad is dominating a lot and eliminating a lot of the women participants, Sasha and Bayley team up to eliminate the Riot Squad together. They get them out. It comes down to Bayley and Sasha. Sasha goes to shake hands with Bayley, and Bayley totally pulls a move on Sasha, and instead of shaking her hand, throws her over the top rope. Bayley thinks she's won. The fans think she's won. They're getting excited, but oh, guess what? No, Naomi never actually went over the top rope. She's just been sitting on the outside for a while, so she comes back in. Bayley's totally caught off guard. She's surprised. Naomi throws her over the top rope. Naomi is the winner of our first ever women's Memorial Battle Royal. So congratulations to Naomi for being the first ever winner for that. Also I wanted to mention, so Carmella was the first to be eliminated, so she did make some sort of history at WrestleMania. Even if it didn't pertain to her Money in the Bank briefcase, she was, the first woman eliminated, so she did make some sort of history. But then, we see Sasha and Bayley sitting on the outside of the ring after this, so like I said, I thought something like this might happen, so we will see starting tomorrow how this plays out for Sasha and Bayley and how this friendship is going to play out. Does Sasha turn fully heel now and start, a big feud with Bayley, or is Bayley going to be seen as the heel now, and she's going to be taking advantage of Sasha and causing havoc like that? I still don't see that. For me, fans seems to, like, when fans thought Bayley won, they still popped for her, like they were excited to see that, it looked like for just 2 or 3 seconds that she was the winner. People were excited for Bayley, so I don't think she is going to turn heel. It just doesn't make sense to turn her heel yet. I think fans just love her too much, and you haven't done enough with her lately for the storylines to remind fans how much they love her to turn her heel yet. If you really wanted to do that, you would need to build up another storyline where she is looking really good and fans are going crazy for her all the time again, and then when you get to that point, then you could turn her heel, because then it's more of a shock and more heartbreaking when she does. But yeah, overall that was a good match, and again, congratulations to Naomi. And then that was the end of our pre-show, and then we got over, we started the main show, and again, what an exciting show this was. Again, full of surprises. We start out, a surprise to me just to start out the show was that the Intercontinental title match started out the show. I mean, this was one of the matches I was most excited for, but it opens the show, because I thought this was one that could potentially be a show stealer, so I didn't think you'd want to put that right at the top of the show. But it is here at the top of the show. We get Seth Rollins. He comes out, instead of his normal like burn it down graphics, he's coming out like he's looking like the Ice King from, you know, Game of Thrones. They got ice graphics on, and he's got like, those blue ice eye contacts in. I liked Finn's entrance here. He's really like been spreading the message of that the Balor Club is for everyone with the LGBTQ shirts and everything he has. So I like that he had the LGBTQ like community up there on stage with him, and had him like for his entrance to his ring, and that he was wearing LGBTQ attire for his match. Let's see, what else did we get? So from highlights from this match, excuse me while I take a sip of water here. For highlights for this match, I had, Rollins had a suicide dive on Finn and Miz, both on the outside. He runs his normal thing where he runs and does a suicide dive on one side of the ring, runs over to the other side and does a suicide dive to the guy on the other side. We had Seth go for a springboard. So he was going to do some sort of springboard move off the top rope, but Miz kicks his feet out from under him. And then Miz goes and gets Balor in a figure 4 leg lock. Then Seth Rollins gets back up. He goes over the top rope, gets a huge, beautiful frog splash, lands right on Miz. Let's see here. Then a little bit later on, Seth Rollins is about to do another power bomb on Finn Balor into the barricade, just like he did before with Finn Balor, where he hurt his shoulder and had to have surgery. It looked like the same thing was going to happen again, but Finn Balor, of course, is able to escape last second from having that move done to him again. Let's see here. After this, Rollins does hit a buckle bomb on Miz. Then we get, right after the buckle bomb, Finn Balor's up on the top rope in the corner. Seth Rollins runs over there, does a Falcon Arrow on him. Balor reverses it and puts him in a small package. Of course, Rollins is able to kick out. Let's see here. Then The Miz is able to hit a skull-crushing finale. Who did he hit it on? Well, anyways, Miz hit a skull-crushing finale, and then Miz hits another skull-crushing finale off the top rope. And then, he does that on Seth Rollins, and then Finn Balor takes advantage, and he hits a coup de grace to The Miz while Miz is pinning Seth. And then a little bit later on, we get Seth. He comes and he hits a stomp on Finn when Finn is trying to pin The Miz. And then The Miz is also affected by this because The Miz and Finn Balor hit heads. Then Seth Rollins come over and he hits the stomp on The Miz. Seth Rollins gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. New Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins. This is another one. Outcome surprised me. Well, it didn't surprise me. This is one of the ones actually where all three competitors, like, I thought it could go any way here. I did predict that The Miz would win. If not, I'm sure he's going to take a little time off now to go spend time with his wife and his new baby daughter, now that he doesn't have to worry about defending the title. So Seth Rollins has it now. Maybe Seth Rollins and Finn Balor will have their chance to, fight one-on-one now for that title, because they've had some really good matches lately. So I'm sure they could start feuding right away and have some good matches right away for that. And then, let's see here. After this, this was another match that I thought could be a show stealer. So they opened up the show with 2 show stealers. They wanted to get the fans super hyped, of course, to start the show. I thought they might do a little bit build up, but they had 2 of them to start right away. The next match was for the SmackDown Women's Championship title of Charlotte versus Asuka. I liked Charlotte's entrance here. She came out like a Roman queen. She had her, Roman warriors escort her down to the ring. Of course, she had Ric Flair's music, and then transitioned into her normal music. Let's see here. So highlights that I had from this match was, Charlotte Flair. Starting out, she gets Asuka in the corner and hits some really good Flair chops here in the corner. Then Asuka does a really good hip attack on Charlotte. It sends her sends Charlotte outside, and where she hurts her arm during this. Asuka sees that Charlotte's arm is hurt, so she starts focusing on Charlotte's arm, and of course we know that one of Asuka's moves is the arm bar, so of course she's thinking about that. Asuka catches Charlotte. Asuka goes up to the top rope and does a moonsault, but Asuka gets her legs up in some kind of weird, awkward position. She's able to catch Charlotte from that position, transitions it into an Asuka lock. That was amazing to see. Charlotte reverses into, is able to reverse that, and she gets Asuka into a Boston Crab. And then Asuka's able to get out that. She does a suplex on Charlotte to the outside of the ring. Man, that was a good bump on both of those guys. Both of these competitors, they did a really good job doing that. Looked like it hurt for sure. And then Charlotte gets Asuka on the top rope, gives her a whole bunch of really good hard-hitting chops up off the top there, and then in a crazy move, like I was scared watching it. I couldn't believe how death-defying it was, but Charlotte gets Asuka in like they do like backflip Spanish fly off the top rope, and they both slam down hard on the mat there. That was a really good high spot for me. And then let's see here. Asuka gets Charlotte in the Asuka lock, and Charlotte is able to reverse out of that. Charlotte spears Asuka here. Then we get Charlotte gets Asuka in the figure 8, and Asuka taps out. She's handed her first loss at WrestleMania. Charlotte wins. She retains the SmackDown Women's title. Asuka was a really good sport about this afterwards, and she grabs the mic, and she says Charlotte was ready for Asuka. They hug it out, and they get emotional. Wow, this one was one that really surprised me here. Like, I'm happy for Charlotte. Like, it's a big win for her. I mean, she's already got a legendary career, so I don't think she really needed it. But she got a big win here, handing Asuka her first loss. It was just like, I still have a hard time with this one. This one still is one, like, I was rooting for Asuka so hard for this one. Like, I was like emotionally invested in that one, hardcore. So I was really wanting Asuka to win. So like, it was tough to see her lose, and it just, I was, not only was I invested in this one, I was marking out for this one. Really wanting Asuka to win, and now that she lost it, it's kind of like, geez, she had like, over 2 years, almost 3 years worth of undefeated streak, and she's not even able to get the title at the end of it. So I don't know what that means for her storyline going forward. I just don't like the I just don't like the outcome of that. So we'll have to see starting Monday Night Raw as well. I assume that means Asuka, she's not going to be heading over to SmackDown because she didn't win the SmackDown championship and she's technically a member of Raw. So does she go back to Raw or is she a member of SmackDown now? We know the Superstar Shakeup is coming soon, so is she going to end up on SmackDown? Charlotte's obviously going to still have the championship, so she's going to stay on SmackDown. So does Asuka get moved over there now in the Superstar Shakeup during the draft? And then they can keep feuding over that and Asuka can have a rematch, or does she go to Raw and she never gets a rematch? I don't know, and the match itself was really good. I was really rooting for Asuka. Like I said, sad that she didn't win, but the match itself was really good. Good on both of these performers. Good job, ladies. It was amazing. Let's see here. Next up after this, we had our U.S. title match, Fatal 4-Way, Bobby Roode, Rusev, Jinder Mahal, and Randy Orton. Here was another one that surprised me. Rusev got added last minute, so I really thought Rusev was going to be the winner here. Rusev actually, when he enters the ring, let's see here, they actually interrupt Bobby Roode's entrance, and Aiden English, of course, comes out and he's singing. I like Aiden English's new haircut. Completely shaved his head instead of his thinning hair. So I think, who do we have now? We have Shawn Michaels. We have Aiden English. I feel like there was somebody else who recently got a haircut. But anyways, earlier in the night we saw Baron Corbin in the Battle Royal. I'm not going to let this go. Shawn Michaels, Aiden English, please get together. Tell your barber to go cut Baron Corbin's hair. That guy needs it badly. There was a moment during the Battle Royal where he's got his head down like this and he's doing the stomp on somebody, and it's just, it really accentuates that big old, thinning hair bald spot that he has on the top of the middle of his head. But anyway, I really like the entrance for Rusev here. Fans are going crazy for Rusev Day. This was one of the matches that was kind of a lull for me. It wasn't one of the best matches. I wasn't looking forward to this match. This was not one of the ones I thought would be a show stealer. I was looking forward to it, I should say, but it wasn't one of the ones at the top of my list for me. But here, quick highlights on this one. Orton, of course, he does an RKO to everybody. He gets an RKO on English. Rusev. Roode ends up hitting his glorious DDT on Randy Orton, and he ends up rolling outside, which gets him out of the match. Rusev is really starting to take advantage here. It looks like he's, maybe going to get a win. He misses on his matcha kick on Jinder. Then Jinder Mahal is able to then take advantage of Rusev missing, throws Rusev down with the Colossus, and then Jinder Mahal gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Jinder Mahal is our new U.S. champion. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people upset about that because a lot of people don't like Jinder Mahal. But overall, the guy as a worker, he went away for a little bit. He really improved. I think he's really good now. He's got a really good physique. So I think, him with the belt is good. His character holding a belt, I think, is good. It really fits the character's persona. So, I'm happy for Jinder Mahal. Rusev, maybe he can compete for another title and, get one of these other titles that are out there. Maybe Rusev and Aiden English can start tagging more and they can get themselves, a tag in a tag title contention. Let's see here. That was that match. I think that's like the match that I have the least amount to say out of all the matches on the night. So let's get to the rest of it here. Here we had, of course we had video package throughout, before every match of the night we had video package, and of course all the video packages were good. We had a lot of commercials. We had the commercial for Paige's new, movie about Paige's life, that I believe was produced by The Rock. We see the scene from this movie that The Rock is in. That looks like it was really funny. Could be good. Movie itself, but the commercial that I liked here was Fandango. Fandango wants to give somebody a ticket, and Tyler Breeze is like, no, he doesn't want to do it. Then we see who they want to give a ticket to. They want to give a ticket to Mick Foley for his fashion, obviously because of his plaid, his sweatpants, and then Tyler Breeze says, like, oh, I don't want to give him a ticket because I like his style, and he reveals he's wearing the same exact thing. Yeah, I just like seeing Mick Foley. He's one of the guys, obviously, I get nostalgic for, growing up and watching him all my life. Or, not all my life now, he hasn't been wrestling for a while, but, all throughout my childhood watching him growing up. But yeah, after this commercial, and, we get a video package here for the next match, which is Stephanie McMahon versus Triple H, not versus Triple H, Stephanie McMahon with Triple H versus Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. And wow, what a match this was. This might have been a show stealer. We'll go through the rest of the matches here throughout the night, but this might actually have been the show stealer. This might have been the best match on the night. I saw so many smart marks out there, the whole time that Ronda Rousey has, ever since she's joined the roster, saying like, oh, they don't like her promos, she's not cutting good enough promos. We hardly have seen her do that many moves so far, but even like the couple of moves that we've seen her do with the Samoa drop that she did on Stephanie, that Ronda said wasn't a Samoa drop, so she called it something else. We saw her do the arm bar on Mandy Rose, and then we saw her get slammed through the table. Like, all along the way, I saw smart marks, and heard smart marks, saying that like, oh, she's not doing it good enough. She's gonna be better. She's gonna be so bad in this match. She doesn't have experience doing WWE style competing, so she's not gonna be any good. It's gonna be Kurt Angle and Triple H the whole time, and Ronda Rousey's gonna barely get tagged in, and she's only gonna do a couple moves. Man, those haters out there, those smart marks, they are eating the words now, because this match was amazing. Ronda Rousey was amazing. Her moves were on point. She definitely looked like she's been training hard for this for a long time now, and getting ready for this moment, because her moveset was on point. Her selling was on point. She was awesome in this match. Let's get to how we started out. Here again, with the entrances, we get Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. They come out on their motorcycles. Big entrance for them. Them looking like bosses, of course. Kurt Angle comes out. He's got his U.S. singlet gear on. Ronda Rousey comes out, in tribute to Roddy Piper, of course. She's got on, Roddy Piper's jacket. She's wearing like a kilt style skirt, a plaid one. That was really fun to see. She looked, this is the best look that I've seen for Ronda Rousey so far, ever since we've seen her on the roster. Like, if they're gonna have a look for her, this is the look I think they should go with and keep, because man, she looked good with this style. Like, she looked like a real competitor. None of that gimmicky makeup that they've put on her before, with the red eye makeup underneath that everybody was making fun of, or different hairstyles. Like, this was the perfect look for Ronda, I think. I like the fans were popping for this, of course. All four competitors, they get in the ring. Triple H, at some point, he tells the ref, like, remember who signs your checks, and we make the rules here. But then also the fans start chanting when all four of them are facing off. They start chanting to Stephanie, "Ronda's gonna kill you. Ronda's gonna kill you." I like that whole deal that they had going on. Man, fans in New Orleans were amazing, added to the show. Let's see here. Boom. We get, before the bell rings, we get a couple of cheap shots from Stephanie. She gets two cheap shots in on Ronda Rousey a slap in there. And then, what did we get here? Oh yeah, she gets those cheap shots in, and then of course Stephanie McMahon runs to the outside. So to start the match, you know what those smart marks out there have been saying. So we start out with Kurt Angle and Triple H in the middle of the ring. They're fighting. Ronda Rousey is on the outside, and I bet this is the point when those smart marks were like, "Oh man, see, I told you guys, Ronda Rousey's not going to work that much in this match." But what we got here, what actually happened was, you know, Triple H is trash talking Ronda to distract the ref, and we get a lot of Stephanie McMahon. We get a lot of Stephanie McMahon taking advantage of the ref being distracted and her, you know, like choking Kurt Angle. At one point, Stephanie McMahon shoves Kurt Angle into some steel steps. She starts choking him on the ropes again. We get, and this is while the ref is looking, actually, we get Stephanie McMahon. She gets Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's next to the ropes. Stephanie gets Kurt Angle in a chokehold. Triple H goes to swing and hit Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is able to move out of the way real quick, and Triple H has to stop himself. He barely stops himself in time from hitting Stephanie McMahon. They're both kind of shook up about that, but of course, Triple H doesn't want to hit his wife, so they both got really shook up that Triple H like almost hit her and was barely able to stop himself because Kurt Angle was able to escape last second. Excuse me. Let's see here. This is a point where, you know, fans are getting really excited. It looks like Kurt Angle finally has a chance. He's going to be able to tag in Ronda Rousey, but boom, Stephanie McMahon, of course, taking advantage of being a boss, and you know the ref can't do much about it because she writes the checks and signs the checks. So she goes over, pulls Ronda Rousey off the apron. Ronda hits the apron, hits the floor. So she's not able to get tagged in yet. Stephanie McMahon runs back over to her corner. At this point, Triple H, he actually takes a hit and he falls outside. So Kurt Angle, he's able to crawl himself over to Ronda Rousey, get that tag in, the hot tag. Ronda Rousey comes in, boom, it's super exciting. Stephanie McMahon, of course, at this point, because it's a mixed match, Stephanie McMahon has to enter the ring. So Ronda comes out, and she comes out on fire. Like I said, all those smart mics out there, they're probably, you know, wetting themselves now, like just about how excited they were to see this, because Ronda Rousey looked so good, coming out on fire, throwing those MMA style strikes on Stephanie McMahon. Here, she really did look like the baddest woman on the planet. You know, we start hearing the chant from hearing another chant from the fans. They're chanting, "Break her arm, break her arm." You know, fans are really popping for this. Stephanie's able to reverse and escape from the arm bar. Stephanie goes for a tag, but Triple H is still out of the ring, so Stephanie McMahon doesn't have anybody to tag. And then Stephanie decides to taunt Ronda. I don't know why you would do that, because she is the baddest woman on the planet. Ronda gets a hold of her, does a Samoa drop to her. She starts to go for the pin. Triple H pulls the ref out. Of course, the boss is still taking advantage, so they can make the rules however they want to. And then Triple H, he pulls Ronda Rousey out and kind of slams Ronda Rousey to the floor when he pulls her out of the ring. That's not supposed to be allowed in a mixed match tag match. You know, you're not supposed to have intergender fighting here, but Triple H and Stephanie make the rules, so they let it go. And I think that might be something that they come to regret later. Because Ronda, let's see here, Ronda gets up. A little bit later on, she is in the ring. She's in there with Triple H. Ronda Rousey, she's facing off with Triple H. She wants it to happen, and the ref's like, no, this can't happen. But Triple H brings the ref over to the corner and says, hey, don't worry, bud. I make the rules. You can go ahead and let this go. I'm going to handle her, type of deal. But nope, Ronda, man, does a really great job here. Again, with the MMA style strikes, she's going after Triple H here. Triple H just, meagerly defending himself. He can't do enough to defend himself. He's looking like a weakling with Ronda, just totally dominating him. Let's see here. At this point, this is another one that I thought looked really good. She's doing this flurry of strikes. Triple H down the ground. She does like a somersault on Triple H, rolls him up, and like gets him up on her shoulders to do a Samoa drop on Triple H. Stephanie, of course, comes over and breaks that up. Triple H then goes for a pedigree on Kurt Angle, but he fails to do this, and Kurt Angle hits the Angle slam on him. Then Angle is going for the Angle slam on the Angle lock on Triple H. Stephanie is able to come and break this up. Let's see here, and then we have just moments later, Triple H sets Ronda Rousey up for the pedigree. Ronda is, of course, able to reverse, and she does a Hurricane Rana on Triple H, and then transitions that into an armbar. She did a Hurricane Rana on Triple H, transitions that into an armbar. Man, if that wasn't a great moveset, and if it didn't look really good doing it, I don't know what you were watching, because man, she did really good there, and she proved that like this, she belongs in WWE. She is a superstar like they thought she would be coming in. It was amazing. What else? What happened right after this? Kurt does get Kurt gets an ankle lock on Triple H, and Ronda has Stephanie in an armbar, and then Triple H is able to reverse this move. He kicks Kurt Angle off, and Kurt Angle ends up running into Ronda, taking Ronda out. Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle are both thrown into the corner and get rammed into the posts. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H are both going to go for a pedigree here. Of course, Triple H doing a pedigree to Kurt Angle, and Stephanie doing one to Ronda. But both miss. Ronda gets Stephanie in an armbar and instantly taps. Of course, fans got what they wanted. Ronda said she did what she was going to do, and she even did it to the arm she said she was going to do it to. She said she was going to do Stephanie's left arm so that she could still use her right arm to sign the checks. And yeah, that was a vicious arm bar that Ronda set in there. Stephanie McMahon taps instantly, and at least she still has that other arm to sign Ronda Rousey's checks because she earned it. She looked so good in this match. It was amazing, for all the training she's been doing. I bet everybody, all the haters out there, all the doubters out there are really, like second guessing themselves now and realizing, oh wow, okay, yes, this is why you sign Ronda Rousey, because she is amazing and she is a star. She's athletic. She can go. That was amazing. As of right now, before I get to the end of the show here, this was the match of the night for me. But let's keep going because there's more to get to. Next up, we had our tag team title match, triple threat match with New Day versus Usos versus Bludgeon Brothers. This is actually another one that I thought would be a little bit more exciting because of what we had, but unfortunately the guys here didn't get a lot of time to tell their story in the ring. I'm really glad that Usos were able to get on the main card of WrestleMania because they have earned it over the past year. Let's see here. For entrances here, New Day had their pancake entrance. Of course, they had a parade of pancake people come out with them to the ring. Some highlights from this match. I'll just quickly go through the highlights. Xavier Woods was power bombed into the corner post on the outside there. Luke Harper, he took a double kick in the head from both the Usos while he was stuck in the corner. Usos did a suicide dive on Eric Rowan, but Rowan was able to catch both of them. And it looked like maybe he was going to maybe choke slam both of them or something, but they were able to take advantage of them both being there, team up on him, and they get a suplex on the outside of the ring on Eric Rowan there onto the floor. Let's see here. Oh yes, a little bit later on inside the ring, Luke Harper is on the top ropes. The Usos look like they're both going to do a double suplex on him. Big E runs in here. It looks like maybe he's going to help do a power slam, but let's see here. Eric Rowan's able to fight that, come in and help break that up. Luke Harper, he's on the top rope. Kofi Kingston up there. They get him in a power bomb, an assisted power bomb from the top rope on Kofi Kingston with Eric Rowan. Luke Harper gets a pin, and we have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Bludgeon Brothers. Not the most exciting match from the card here tonight, but the Bludgeon Brothers, they are an exciting tag team, big, huge guys. New great team to feud with on the tag team division, over on the great tag team division that they have on the SmackDown show. So I'm looking forward more to that because there's going to be a one-on-one match where the Usos get a rematch with the Bludgeon Brothers because they were the title holders, so they are beholden to have a rematch. So I will be excited to see a one-on-one match between Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers. So that'll be exciting to see. Hopefully that is something that comes true. Next up here, we get, let's see here. I missed something back here a little while ago. So at some point, we get a shot of John Cena. A ref mentions something to him in the ring, so he actually gets out of the crowd and he starts running back to the back, and we're thinking, okay, yep, Undertaker's coming, it's going to come soon. And so actually here, this is where John Cena comes back out. John Cena music hits, and we all get excited. We're like, yes, it's going to happen. John Cena and Undertaker is going to be here. But when John Cena gets out here, another ref runs out and says something to him, so John Cena gets all, disappointed looking, so he starts to leave again. Boom, the lights turn off and fans are popping. They're like, oh yes, Undertaker. What happens? The lights come back on. Boom, it's Elias. Elias is here to do his performance that he's been talking about. He starts walking to the ring, playing guitar, and doing his normal, thing on, trashing on the fans and the city he's in. He's like, oh, did you expect somebody else to be here? Well, don't worry, because, that guy that you expect. He doesn't have the athleticism that I have, or the charisma I have, or the talent, unlimited talent that I have. So he's really trolling the fans here and getting booed. Cena goes ahead and gets out of the ring, and Cena, Elias tells Cena to leave and be a spectator because that's what he does best. So Cena does leave and he goes back out to the crowd. But then Cena gets in there. He attacks Elias because he's tired of Elias talking trash about him. Let's see here. Fans, of course, are still cheering for The Undertaker as, Cena pauses and really makes it obvious, like, hey, it's time to cheer for The Undertaker. But no, we still don't get it. John Cena music hits, so John Cena starts to leave again. He's walking up the ramp. The lights go out again. So is it Undertaker this time? Boom, this time it is Undertaker. We get the lights, they flash, they're out, and then they flash back on. We see the hat and jacket that Undertaker left inside of the ring at last year's WrestleMania. Lightning hits where the hat and jacket are. Lights are out, boom, lights come back on. The jacket and hat, they're missing from the ring. And then, boom, then Undertaker's music hits, the gong hits, and Undertaker appears, and fans are going crazy. Here we go, we get the Undertaker. This was a great match. I was excited for this. The only reason why this wasn't a show stealer for me was because it was, it was a shorter side on the match, but man, I sure loved it. I sure loved Undertaker being back in the ring. I love seeing Undertaker getting in there, do all his signature moves that we're used to seeing him doing, and in there with John Cena, and John Cena taking them beautifully. Undertaker, to start this match, when he finally gets into the ring, he comes out on fire. He looks like he has been working out and he's in shape. He's throwing punches like crazy. He gets John Cena into the corner. He gets John Cena's arm. He walks the rope and comes down on the arm on top of John Cena. He goes ahead and he hits a big boot on John Cena, and then the big leg drop on John Cena. Let's see here. He gets Cena in a position to do a chokeslam on John Cena, but Cena is able to escape from that. Slams him down, reverses it, and then John Cena, he's about to do the "you can't see me" little punch that he does on guys, but last moment, Undertaker sits up. Of course, that totally freaks out John Cena, throws him off guard. Undertaker gets up, gives him the choke slam, gives him the tombstone, and we have a winner. Undertaker gets a win again at WrestleMania, and that was so awesome, so exciting to see Undertaker back. He does his little pose with his tongue sticking out and his eyes in the back of his head. That was really good to see, really fun to see. I can't wait to see Undertaker again. I do not think this is the last match, because if you watch this match, Undertaker did everything to John Cena. John Cena didn't have a chance in this. What was great, when we had John Cena and The Rock go against each other, they built that up for a whole year. This match, they only built it up for about a month, and people were still excited for it. They wanted it. This was short and sweet. John Cena was dominated the whole time. John Cena has the excuse that, he only showed up at this year's WrestleMania, expecting to be a fan, because he didn't, he was told Undertaker wasn't going to happen. But then all of a sudden, last second, Undertaker shows up. It catches John Cena by surprise, off guard. So that's why he didn't, wasn't able to give a good, give Undertaker a run for his money. So now he's gonna want a rematch with Undertaker, where he's really got time to prepare, and maybe on Monday Night Raw he's going to challenge Undertaker and say, I want you at WrestleMania 35, because WrestleMania 35, that's one of those, anything that ends in a 5 or a 0 is one of those nominal numbers that companies really like to throw big celebrations for, and having Undertaker there in a match would be a big exciting celebration type of match that you could have. So looking forward to see what happens here as well. If we never see Undertaker again, I'm happy with that as well. If that's really what he wanted it to be, his last deal, like, I'm excited to see him really hit all his fun signature moves that, like I said, we're used to seeing him do on opponents, and really nail them and looking good while doing them. I enjoyed that. After this, they presented all of the WWE Hall of Fame Class of 2018 on the stage. Again, congratulations to all those guys. Don't have a lot to say about that, except for they were there. Here's another match for me. That was a show stealer, of course. One of the top matches for me anyway, because of Daniel Bryan. This was the match of Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was a great match, of course. Shane McMahon enters first, then we get Daniel Bryan, of course. Everybody's doing the yes for Daniel Bryan. How could you not? We think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're going to do their entrance. They, of course, being the jerks they are, come in from behind and sneak attack. Instead of doing a normal entrance, they get a sneak attack on Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. We get a pop-up powerbomb on the apron that Kevin Owens does to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is hurt. Shane McMahon wants to continue the match anyway, so Daniel Bryan's on the outside not most of this match, for a good portion of the beginning of this match, and Shane McMahon is taking them both on him by himself, one-on-one. He's holding his stomach a lot because of his hernia. But let's see here. So Daniel's hurt. Kevin was yelling, "Oh, he made us do it. He made us do it," type of deal. Again, Shane got in, called for the bell. They get started. Let's see here. Shane McMahon did start out this match on fire as well. Really, getting the revenge that he wanted, pummeling both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with a whole bunch of his boxing style strikes that he does. Excuse me while I take another sip here. Let's see here. We get a shot on the outside. Daniel Bryan, that of course they're getting a gurney set up for him so they could take him out on a stretcher. And for some reason, Kevin's taunting Daniel Bryan on the outside and saying like, "Oh, good job, what a good return for you, isn't it?" type of deal, because Kevin is really good at being a jerk. Let's see here. Let's see here. Of course, we get a whole bunch more attacks from both Sami and Kevin, attacking the midsection of Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon a little bit later on, he gets Sami Zayn in the corner upside down, of course, and then Shane is able to hit the coast to coast, even with his hernia being injured and everything during this match. He hits that coast to coast. Kevin breaks up the pin with the little back swan bomb that he does. Then Kevin goes up to the top, and then he hits a frog splash on Shane McMahon, of course, furthering damaging his midsection, the hernia that he has. Let's see here. But Daniel Bryan gets up. He's able to run in last minute, and we see Daniel Bryan break up the pin, and Daniel Bryan is back in the match. We're excited. Daniel Bryan is not the legal man, though, so he does have to get back to the outside of the ring. He gets to his corner. Shane is down on the ground. He's able to crawl over to the ropes. He's still far away from Daniel Bryan. He holds onto the ropes and he, like zip lines himself, drags himself on the ropes over to Daniel Bryan, tags Daniel Bryan in. We get the hot tag. Fans are going crazy. They're excited to see Daniel Bryan in. Daniel Bryan comes out on fire, of course. He's excited. He's back. He's having in-ring competition. He's at WrestleMania. He's excited. Everybody's excited. We get his signature missile drop kicks. Let's see here. From the corners, eventually Kevin Owens gets a hold of Daniel Bryan. He holds him in the corner so that Sami Zayn could hit the hell of a kick on Daniel Bryan, which every time you see Daniel Bryan hitting the head now, like you gasp and you're worried because of course his whole deal before was concussions, and so you get worried and really don't want anything bad to happen to Daniel Bryan. Then Sami hits a pop-up powerbomb on Daniel. Daniel hits Sami a little bit later with a crazy flurry of slaps to the face. Like, he went hard on Sami. Like, those slaps were real hard ones. The guys went all out for this, really helping Daniel come back and make his return. So thank you, Kevin and Sami, for being the good, being great at being bad guys. Thank you for that. It really helped get me that much more excited for Daniel Bryan, that Daniel Bryan's in there, the good guy, and we're really cheering for him, and he's going against really bad guys. And then, yes, after Sami does these crazy slaps to Daniel does these crazy slaps to Sami. Daniel does the yes kicks next. He hits the knee on Sami, gets him in the yes lock, and boom, he's got a tap. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon get the win. We're excited. We're all excited. Shane McMahon still having the hernia problem, so he's injured, but everybody's excited for Daniel Bryan. He's back. He's back at WrestleMania. His first match back at WrestleMania is a win. Super exciting. He goes out of the ring for a moment to go give Brie Bella a hug and a kiss. His wife gets back into the ring, gets his arm raised by Shane McMahon. They hug it out. They're friendly now, and it's just all a feel-good moment for me and for everybody there in the arena to see Daniel Bryan back. That was really great. Let's see here. Let's keep moving here. Next up, we had another women's title match, the Raw women's title match. Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. In this one, the entrances here, I'd like that Alexa Bliss, being the goddess she is, enters. She starts out on a pedestal high up in the air and ascends down like the goddess she is, coming down to the ground. Of course, she's accompanied by Mickie James. Nia comes out, and before the match starts, Nia destroys Mickie James on the outside, tossing her around like a rag doll, and there's this crazy Samoa drop to Mickie James on the outside onto the floor there. And so that eliminates Mickie James from being ringside, so Nia Jax doesn't have to worry about Alexa getting help from any outside interference. Let's see here. Alexa, of course, tries to attack Nia from the back, and then we get Alexa slap Nia and then try to run, but Nia is able to get a hold of her, and then Nia just tosses Alexa Bliss around like a little rag doll. Nia does a big gorilla press to Alexa, throwing her down. Let's see here. Again, Alexa rolls to the outside. She goes to grab her title, and she tries to run off again with the title. Because she is the title holder, of course, she can just run and be disqualified and not lose her title for that. Be back just 2 seconds. I need to go mute my Amazon. Sorry about that. Forgot about that. Should have done that before I started recording here. Let's see here. Where was I? Yes. Alexa tried to run off with the title again, but of course Nia is able to catch her on the outside, and Nia totally bulldozes over Alexa. You know, the total size difference in there, you know, just annihilating Alexa with this. But of course, Alexa, being the mean girl she is, to start getting out of situations, she keeps poking Nia in the eyes to gain offensive advantages. You know, she kicks Nia's knees out to try to, you know, actually injure her. Nia goes to spear Alexa in the corner, and you know, she ends up missing and and hits her shoulder on the post. Alexa, I mean, you know, so Nia falls out to the outside of the ring here. Alexa climbs to the top rope. She hits the Twisted Bliss to the outside onto Nia Jax. Let's see here. Then Alexa is also able to send Nia Jax face first into the turnbuckle when they get back inside the ring. Alexa makes another mistake. She's going at it, slapping Nia really hard, but she starts taunting Nia. I don't know why you would taunt Nia, but Alexa does. Nia tells her to shut up, gets up, tosses her around the ring again. Nia catches Bliss off the top rope. You know, Alexa does a jump and she's trying to hit like a Hurricane Rana type of deal. It looks like she was going to do something like that type of mood. But so Nia's actually still got her legs over, and Alexa is draped over Nia's back. She goes over to the other corner, flips her over the top. Alexa crashes her face into the top turnbuckle there, pretty much knocking her out, and Nia picks her up, goes to the second rope, and does a huge Samoan drop off of the second rope there from the Nia Jax to net Alexa Bliss. And of course, this is where we get the pin for Nia Jax, the girl we're rooting for to get the win. You know, she's able finally to get her revenge on the bully and prove that, you know, it's, you know, okay to just be who you are and to be proud of who you are and to be strong and confident no matter who you know, what you look like, you know. And so that was a good win for Nia. I was excited about that. Fans there also seemed really excited. Here's another match that, again, we're just moving along here. Here's another match that I was really excited about. We had Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the SmackDown Championship. This was a really cool for me. One of my most favorite guitar players in the world, man or woman, is Nita Strauss. Nita Strauss was in attendance for this. You know, she was in attendance at the NXT TakeOver New Orleans, and then she, of course, was in attendance for this because she was performing. She performed for Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. That was really cool. Then he had like a lineup of violinists playing for him, drummers on the sides of the ramp there playing for him. That was a really cool entrance. I liked that. Let's see here. This was a really good match to start out. The way it started out was really fast paced. You know, so it was a good, nice, hot start here for me. Let's see here. At one point, you know, after they're doing their, you know, heated exchange right at the beginning. They get tied up in the ropes, and the ref tells them to break it up, and Shinsuke just rests his head on AJ's chest and does kind of like a little taunt. And let's see, what else did we get? They're going along the ropes, and AJ actually gives a vicious knee to face on Shinsuke. That, like, oh man, like you could tell that Shinsuke actually got hurt there, because he was holding his face and his nose for a while, because he took a hard knee there. Let's see here. And then they did another quick, really fast pace, high pace, bouncing off the ropes, that Shinsuke took another like missile drop kick off of. That looked like it was a pretty good one. A little bit later on, we get Shinsuke. He's on the top rope, hits a karate kick on AJ from the top rope, top turnbuckle there. Shinsuke does his signature "come on," and does his signature set of moves that he does after that. He does his kick strikes, and his gets AJ Styles over in the corner on the top turnbuckle there, and gets a knee strike on AJ Styles' ribs. Let's see here. AJ Styles, he's trying to go for a phenomenal forearm, but Shinsuke is able to prevent that. And he does a drive onto AJ into the mat. And then a little bit later on, we get AJ gets Shinsuke in the calf crusher, but Shinsuke not tapping out. He's not tapping out. AJ Styles starts getting really frustrated with the fact that Shinsuke isn't tapping. Nakamura is able to reverse this and get AJ Styles into a triangle chokehold. It looks like AJ Styles might be starting to go out. AJ powers him up from there, and then he drives Shinsuke super hard into the mat. AJ hits his phenomenal forearm here. He goes for a springboard 450, but Shinsuke gets his knees up, and then he tries to roll him up. But he doesn't get the pin there. They start headbutting each other here, and then after they do this, Shinsuke headbutts AJ, then AJ headbutts Shinsuke, and then after this, they really went after each other hard here with some stiff hits. The headbutts were already stiff there, and then they start throwing forearms on each other and actually punching each other in the face. Like, those ones were hard. Like, I really thought one of them was going to get knocked out here. Big exchange here. Really, that really got over with me, the performance that they gave on this part of the match as well. Let's see here. Nakamura hits a Kinshasa to the back of AJ's head. And then Shinsuke misses a regular Kinshasa to the front, and AJ counters and is able to roll that missed Kinshasa up into getting Shinsuke up into the Styles Clash. AJ hits the Styles Clash, gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles retains the SmackDown Championship. He is the winner. After the match, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, they're showing each other a lot of respect here. Obviously, they had one great match over in Japan. One of the best matches ever, really. They put on a good match here, probably not quite as good maybe, but anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura, he gets down on one knee and he, presents the championship belt to AJ Styles because he has a lot of respect for AJ, but no, psych, not really, because then Shinsuke Nakamura, out of the blue, out of nowhere, decides to turn heel, throws a low blow on AJ Styles. and then he stomps on the back of AJ Styles' head while AJ Styles is draped over the outside of the apron. Um, Shinsuke Nakamura starts to leave. He walks up the ramp, and then he looks back at AJ, and fans are cheering for knee to face. So he goes ahead and does that knee to face. He does the Kinshasa on the outside of the ring on AJ Styles. And a couple things I want to say this, like, man, like, they did put on a really good match. This was a match that another match I was really invested in. Again, as I said, I was really invested in that Asuka match. Emotionally, I really wanted her to win. Again, I marked out for this match. I really wanted Shinsuke to win this match, and he loses here. Not only does he lose here, but then he turns heel and does a low blow. Like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And like, fans actually started being, of course, it's a long day of wrestling. We're getting towards the end of the show. It's like 7 hours worth of wrestling that we've been watching all day long. But, so fans might be feeling a little bit tired, but, they're cheering for Shinsuke. They want Shinsuke to hit this knee to face, and then everybody's quiet. And Corey Graves, the whole announcing team did a great job at this event. I would venture to say myself, I thought they did a beautiful job of doing announcing on this. And Corey Graves is trying to save the moment here, so I don't blame him. But I did notice Corey Graves in this moment, he says, he's sitting there shocked and stunned in silence like the fans. But I don't think that was the case. From my own personal reaction, from what I was feeling in this match, and then from, instant reactions that I was reading on Twitter after this, like, fans just weren't into this. I think most people wanted to see Shinsuke Nakamura win again. I wanted to see Shinsuke Nakamura win. That's what I was hoping would happen. I think that's what most fans were hoping would happen, even though we're huge fans of AJ Styles. Of course, I think a lot of people were really thinking it would be a great thing for Nakamura to win the championship belt and start a reign that it would really help out Nakamura's career and keep that going forward. And then I think most fans were just not into the whole Nakamura turning heel. Like, fans were not a fan of that. They weren't silent because they were, shocked and stunned in silence. I think they were silent because they just weren't a fan of it. Like, I don't think fans were, excited or happy or even upset, with Nakamura being a heel. I think they were just upset with the fact that, WWE turned Nakamura's character into a heel. Some people say the whole mutual respect thing that AJ Styles had and Nakamura had together was not a thing. You needed more of a feud between them. It would have been more effective for me if AJ Styles would have been the one that turned heel, especially since, the last couple of weeks they played into it, that AJ Styles is the more emotional one and is the one that wears his emotions on his sleeve. So it just really didn't make sense for me that Nakamura turned heel. I was not a fan of that decision as a storyline. So we'll see where this goes going forward. I really thought as well that Nakamura, and at least Nakamura or Asuka would be one of the first. Japan has some of the top performers in the world going right now. We've had a lot of great Japanese performers in the past throughout history in WWE. We still have never had a Japanese born WWE champion. I thought for sure Nakamura was going to get it or Asuka was going to get it. One of them at least was going to get it, but they both get a loss here. Oh man, I was really disappointed. Obviously, the person I was most invested in seeing tonight was Daniel Bryan. I was most excited to see Daniel Bryan and see how he made his return, and he looked great. I was excited for that. But outside of Daniel Bryan, I was most invested in You know, Charlotte versus Asuka, and Nakamura versus Styles, and in both cases, both matches, I was sorely disappointed. So I hope we get to see more going forward. I don't know what they're planning on doing with Asuka, because Asuka's not even technically a member of the SmackDown show, so I don't know how she's gonna. Maybe she's gonna start a feud now with Nia Jax, because they've had some good, you know, fights together so far. Some really good matches for Nakamura. You know, obviously he's on the show with AJ Styles, so obviously we can keep playing this out, and Nakamura and AJ Styles can feud together. I'm just not looking forward to seeing Nakamura as a heel. Like, I like him as a babyface. Like, he's a babyface to me. I don't want to see him being a heel, but you know, that's what we're getting for now. So let's just see how it goes going forward. And you know, there's still a chance that Nakamura can go ahead and win that championship in, you know, some sort of rematch feud that they'll have going with AJ Styles. Next, after this, at least after this match, we got a feel-good match here. I was, you know, excited. There were so many rumors about what was going to happen in this next match here. The next match, of course, is The Bar versus Braun Strowman and a partner of his choosing. The Bar, they came out with their entrance. They come out here with a Mardi Gras float. Braun Strowman comes out here. He does his roar and scares, you know, the people on the float. They all go running. Braun Strowman throws that float off the side of the stage, and Braun Strowman gets in the ring. He says, "I'm sure everybody here is excited to, you know, everybody wants to know who my partner is, especially Sheamus and Cesaro." And he says, "I've been waiting this whole time to pick my partner until I got to New Orleans, because but the person who is going to be my partner is not in the locker room in the back. It could be you. It could be you. It could be you. It could be you." And he's pointing to all sides of the stadium. And we're like, what? What is he talking about? And he actually gets out into the crowd, and he starts walking around. And I think for sure, okay, they're going to have whoever his wrestling partner is going to be, they're going to have them planted in the crowd. But nope, that's not what happens. What happens, he actually goes out in the crowd and he picks out a little boy. This little boy, Nicholas, is his partner. So he grabs this little boy. The little boy, you could tell he's like nervous to be going in there. Obviously this had to have been pre-planned. Otherwise, I don't know what these parents were doing letting him go into the ring. But, you know, it's nice to see, you know, this boy, he was still, you know, in front of, you know, 78,133 other people. And he comes out, he comes into the ring, and he's looking super, you know, skittish. Like, Braun Strowman is like trying to help him get into the ring, and the kid doesn't even know how to get into the ring. But eventually he gets him in there. Braun asks him what his name is. The boy says his name is Nicholas. Nicholas goes over and stands in the corner and waits on the apron, and Strowman does what he does best. He handles the bar all by himself. He does a strong choke slam on Cesaro. The Bar actually team up. They're able to suplex Braun. Sheamus does a knee to Braun off the top rope. The jerks, the Bar are, they go ahead and they're trash talking Nicholas over there in the corner. Sheamus is able to Sheamus power slams Cesaro onto Broman. Braun Strowman gets up. He does a double crossbody. He hits both Sheamus and Cesaro at the same time with the crossbody. Braun Strowman not only showing his big brute brawn strength that he has, but he's also very athletic. Being able to do a move like that for a guy his size is very exciting to see. And then Braun Strowman, he tags in the kid, you know, while both Sheamus is down on the outside. Sheamus is down. Braun goes and tags in the kid, The kid gets in. Nicholas, I should say. I shouldn't just call him the kid. His name is Nicholas. Nicholas gets into the ring. Cesaro is mean mugging him, gritting his teeth, flashing his teeth at the kid. The kid smartly tags Braun Strowman back in before doing anything. Braun gets in there, grabs Cesaro, power slams him, gets the 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman and Nicholas are the winners. And we have new Raw Tag Team Champions, Braun Strowman and Nicholas. Oh man, that was cool to see. I bet that kid is super excited. I'm super excited for that kid. Man, what kind of story he's going to have to tell, you know. Like they were saying on the announce table, like, oh man, you know, he, you know, left school thinking, you know, he's just going to WrestleMania, but now when he goes back to school, he gets to say that he's a Raw Tag Team Champion, and he's the partner of Braun Strowman. You know, who wouldn't want to be the partner of Braun Strowman? I know if I was that kid's age, they never even said what the kid's age is. He's like, what, 10 or something? You know, how excited would I be when I was 10 years old if I got to be the tag team champion partner of, you know, when I was a kid. You know, it could have been, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock or Undertaker. If, you know, somebody chose me like that to be the tag team partner, or if I somehow, you know, was, you know, picked to be a tag team partner for somebody, man, that's just an amazing story to tell. It was funny to see the size difference here when they, you know, they give them the championship belts. The kid, he's like struggling to even lift the championship belt above his head. They, of course, after every match, they have the on-screen graphic at the bottom of the screen saying who the champion is, who the winner is, and we get on the screen, you know, oh, tag team champions, Braun Strowman and Nicholas. And, you know, because Braun is so much bigger, Braun is there on the screen, and Nicholas, if you're watching on the YouTube version, you'll see what I do here. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll have to go check it out later. But Braun Strowman, he's way up here in the screen like I am right now, normal, and the kid, he's down here, he's blocked. You can't even see the kid because the graphic on the screen can't fit both Braun Strowman and the kid in the screen, because the graphic is, even though it's low on the screen, it's covering the kid up because the kid is so small. Just great feel-good match here. I'm glad they gave me that, because there was, like I said, a couple matches in tonight's WrestleMania that like really brought me down. And then, so next up here, let's get to the main event of the show. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And what a match this was we got here. This is another one, you know, smart marks, and myself included, like we all said, you know, Roman Reigns is of course destined to win this match, like we've all been expecting now for the last 4 years, that Roman Reigns is going to win the main event at WrestleMania and leave the Universal Champion. So let's get into the match and talk about what happened here. Both competitors come out really aggressive here, really good hot stuff that we had going on. Brock Lesnar hits 3 German suplexes on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets back up. He's able to hit 2 Superman punches on Brock Lesnar. Then they go to the outside. Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch, you know, running and jumping off the top of the stairs on the outside of the ring. Of course, we have Roman Reigns. He tries to do this move again, but Brock Lesnar is able to catch Roman Reigns this time, does a belly-to-belly over the head suplex here. On the outside of the ring still. Then Brock launches Roman into the announcer's table on a suplex attempt. This looked like to me here like Brock Lesnar was actually trying to do a suplex over the head again, and maybe Roman Reigns was supposed to land on top of the table. But it looked like it was a little bit of a botched move here, and Brock Lesnar doesn't quite flip Roman Reigns over the top of his head. but Roman Reigns still does get launched, and he like runs like right into that announcer's table. That looked like that was a pretty good hit, a pretty good bump that Roman took there. Let's see here. Then through a series of different types of suplexes here, of course, we have Brock Lesnar taking Roman Reigns on a tour through Suplex City. It seems like he's just suplexing, Roman Reigns over and over and over. German suplex, belly to belly suplex, just suplexing them over and over and over. And then let's see here. Roman is able to finally muster up a little bit of offense here. He sends Brock into the post on the outside of the ring. Roman spears Brock onto the announcer's table in a pretty big spear there. They send them both over. Brock looks like he's pretty hurt here. And then get back into the ring. Roman Reigns, he hits Superman punch and 2 spears, and this is the moment where we get what we think we've been destined to see. Roman Reigns can get the 1, 2, 3 pin here, but no. Brock Lesnar kicks out. He tosses Roman Reigns into the ropes and does a flying knee to the face of Roman Reigns, a vicious flying knee that really got Roman Reigns good. He took every bit of that flying knee to his face. Brock Lesnar, boom, F5, 3 F5s in a row. Roman Reigns kicking out every time. Brock Lesnar takes Roman Reigns to the outside of the ring, F5 through a table, gets him back in, German suplex, F5. Roman Reigns still kicking out every time. Brock Lesnar, he's getting serious, he's mad, he removes his glove, throws a series of punches and elbow strikes on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets up, he's got blood on his head. Roman Reigns, he's still got fight left in him, though. Of course, he's the guy who's destined to be and has always been destined to be our Universal Champion. They've been forcing it down our throats, right? He's got blood on his face. He gets up and he does 2 spears. He's got fight still left him. 2 spears to Brock Lesnar. Blood's all over the place at this point. Roman's got blood just gushing out the top of his head. His whole entire face is red, looking like a waterfall, blood running down his face. Brock Lesnar, though, you can't pin him here, so maybe it's going to happen later in the match where Roman Reigns is going to get that pin. We get another F5 from Brock Lesnar, and boom, 1, 2, 3, pin. Paul Heyman was right. Again, he's done this to us before. He told us he was giving us a spoiler, not a prediction. Brock Lesnar gets the win here. He retains the Universal Championship. This is another one. Like, wow. Like, I was excited to see this match because I thought, man, these guys are going to put on a good show. But I'm just like every other smart mark out there on this match. Like, I really thought, Roman Reigns was going to win, and that that was what we were destined to see, that they've been shoving it down our throats for the past 4 years, that Roman Reigns is going to be eventually be the Universal Champion, and you guys are just gonna have to like it. Man, everything leading up to this moment made me really think, like, okay, yes, Brock Lesnar, he's leaving the WWE for the UFC. He doesn't like being there full time. He's only a part-timer. He's only there for certain events. And fans are actually, on board with that. Like, yeah, why isn't Brock Lesnar at more events? Like, we pay big money to come to these events. He's got the Universal Championship. We want to see that at events more often. We actually want to see that title being defended. So everybody thought, man, Roman Reigns is gonna get the win here, but no, Brock Lesnar is the winner. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see Raw tomorrow and see how this plays out. Out of all the storylines coming out of this, what I thought was gonna happen after this match itself and the storyline going forward, I was only sort of interested in, because I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll get something here where Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar can start feuding with each other, because after Elimination Chamber match, and the after show on that, Roman Reigns said like, oh, wouldn't it be great if Brock Lesnar and I feuded forever? We're like Batman and Joker. It seems like we're destined to fight forever. And with the matches those guys put on, I thought, oh yeah, that sounds a good idea. But I just thought I was so sure what was going to happen in the outcome of this match that I wasn't even getting excited or thinking about what was going to happen after Roman Reigns wins. But now that Brock Lesnar wins and keeps, I cannot even wrap my mind around it. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many different possibilities now. Like, what is going to be the outcome? What is going to happen with the Universal title? Roman Reigns loses here. He still gets to exit WrestleMania with his music playing, but he's all soaking and sad because he's lost. He doesn't get to do his slow arm raise in victory that we're so used to seeing with the fireworks, shooting up behind him at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar is the winner, and he's holding that Universal title. I don't know what's going to happen going forward with the storyline with that. And that's one of the most exciting things you can have in sports entertainment, is like not having any idea what's going to happen. And obviously me and all these other smart marks out there had no idea what was going to happen here, because Brock Lesnar wins and retains. But there's like so much you can do with this now. You can keep up a feud with Roman Reigns, although I don't know if you'd want to do that because people are sick of it. Daniel Bryan is back. Daniel Bryan can be brought over, and he can be set on the path to clash with Brock Lesnar. How exciting would that be? That's an option now. With Brock Lesnar winning, we could one day actually see a match with Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar fighting for the Universal Championship. That would be so exciting to see. We could see, we've seen it before, but we could see another match of Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar going for the Universal Championship. We could see all sorts of different combinations of things with Brock Lesnar keeping it. This was not something I was expecting. I can't believe it. For me, that's the end of the show. For me, going into this year's WrestleMania, I was really excited. I thought this was going to be an amazing show. Overall, it was an amazing show. It just got over, so I cannot say it's the best WrestleMania I've ever seen, but it was an amazing WrestleMania. All the matches were performed really well. Like I said, there's just a couple of outcomes in there for me that were really disappointing. Both of them, being back-to-back there. Not being back-to-back, but both of them being ones that I was really emotionally invested in. So I'm bummed out about that, but the performances in those matches were still really good, so I can't really bring the ranking down because of the fact that I was disappointed by the outcome. So just based on performance wise alone, I think this WrestleMania, when we look back on it, that it's definitely going to rank near the top of some of the best WrestleManias of all time. We're going to remember the card that we had here. There wasn't really. We had like 14 matches total, and only a couple of them were smaller matches where that they weren't that much of exciting things happened. Like otherwise, every match on this card, was something that you really looked forward to and had great potential. Almost every single match lived up to the great potential that you thought it could have. So yeah, it was great WrestleMania. Again, guys, go ahead, come over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like the video, comment in below. Let me know, what did you think of WrestleMania? What did you think of these outcomes? Did you want to see Asuka win the championship? Did you want to see Nakamura win the championship? Are you disappointed like me that both of them lost and didn't get a championship? How crazy is it to you that Brock Lesnar actually retained the UFC title? Does that mean he's staying in WWE and not going to go back to UFC? Dana White was there. He was present in the deal. Obviously, he still has relationships with Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, and maybe he's still trying to get Brock Lesnar to come back. Maybe Brock Lesnar is going to do some sort of dual thing where he'll be able to go, go back to have a match. Maybe he's worked some sort of deal out. I don't know. Dana White did look like he was, happy when he was there. It was crazy. So let me know what you think of that whole situation. Did you think, like almost everybody else out there, that Roman Reigns was destined to win, but ended up taking the loss here? Did that catch you by surprise? Yeah, guys, thanks for watching and enjoying the show, and we'll catch you later. Bye.